Ohayo gozaimasu. Watashi no namae wa Miku desu. Watashi no channel e yokoso. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark, and here is episode 2. So what I just said there at the beginning was good morning. I think I forgot to say how are you, but I said welcome to my channel. I said my name is Mark and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be using a little bit more Japanese as these episodes progress so I can work on my output. But in this episode, what I'm going to be going over is some of the things that I'm using, some of the resources that I'm using, because I want to give you guys a baseline to what I'm using right now, so you can see as it changes, as I progress in becoming fluent. You'll see some of the things that I continue to use, some things that I drop and stop using altogether. So let's dig into it. Let's get over these resources. Maybe some of you guys can check this out if you're interested in also learning Japanese. Let's see how much it helps me as this journey continues. So I do have it up on the screen behind me, so I'll be looking over a little bit. So the first thing I use, which is hit or miss and mostly miss, is Google Translate. Google Translate is a wonderful tool for when you're in a pinch and you need to communicate with a native speaker. But Google Translate gets it wrong a lot when it comes to full sentences, and sometimes even some words are just not the words that native speakers use. So native speakers will usually understand what you're trying to say, but they'll know that that's not exactly what you should be saying. And then a lot of the times they will actually be confused. What I would recommend is stay away from full sentences and just stick to single words, just because it will start to get a little weird. Also, within the program, there are different ways you can record information or words into the program that will come out with slightly different outcomes. So for instance, if you use the microphone or dictation on your iPhone, the little microphone built into the keyboard, that will usually bring out a different result than the microphone that's built into Google Translate, versus even if you type the words in. So there's some little differences there based on how you input what you want to learn. So Google Translate is there, but something else that I use on top of Google Translate, which helps out a bunch, and this is probably my best resource so far that I can just do on my own, and that's YouTube. YouTube has been amazing for me, and there's some specific channels that I watch, specific resources there. So the first one is JapanesePod101.com. Now, if you're into any type of language learning and you know about YouTube, then you've seen this channel. And keep in mind, everything on this list is free. I'm not spending any money for any of this stuff. Now, the cool thing about Japanese Pod 101 is it gives you a breakdown of in what situations to use which words, which terms, which conjugations, so on and so forth, which is probably the best resource you can find out there, besides, well, for free. For free, it's probably the best resource for free at this point. And that leads me to the next channel where I learned another specific technique. The other channel that I use is Miku Real Japanese. Now, the Miku Real Japanese is, for me, much more entertainment value. Just all I'm talking about is when I watch it, I actually enjoy watching it and I have fun, I laugh. So now, since the entertainment value is high, what I found myself doing was watching episode after episode after episode and not retaining any of the information, because she goes over something different pretty much in each episode. So what I learned was to save one episode to my playlist, watch it over and over and over again, and then when I retain that information, I could then add a new episode. So I kind of got caught up into the fact that, she's a charismatic person and it's funny and I actually like passing the time with it, but it wasn't, I don't feel like it was helping my learning capabilities. So the next thing I look at is I was trying to find some Japanese game shows, but as we all may know, not everything was completely appropriate, and there was just some other issues with trying to find Japanese game shows. But I did find a Japanese TV show called Mr. Brain. There may be about 5 to 8 episodes for free on YouTube. Whoever pirated it or did whatever, they put it on YouTube, and I saved those to my playlist. And I love this because of the speed that they conversate, the tones, the volumes are different based on if they're whispering or if they're shouting. Like, this is going to give you probably one of the most realistic views of how the speaking is. So you do have, this is more of a listening practice when you watch Mr. Brain, but at the same time, if you put subtitles on, then you could pause it and go over some of the words and copy some of that stuff down, and it will possibly be helpful to you. Keep in mind, I may stop using some of these things, so I don't know. I just want to kind of list it out and give you guys kind of a list of what I'm using right now. And let's see how it helps me out. You never know. This stuff may do it. The next thing, which is probably one of the best things I can do, I get really, really nervous before doing it, and it's actually meeting up with my Japanese friend Mika. Mika, again, I don't pay her to help me out. She's just a friend, and she helps me out. She's really interested or intrigued by the fact that I want to learn Japanese, and we laugh, and we actually just have a good time when we go through our training sessions. So what we usually do is I'll kind of have some things that I have questions about. So when we meet up, we will greet each other in Japanese. So konnichiwa, genki desu ka, things like that. Basically we'll start off with that, and then we'll kind of jump right into some of the questions that I have. But one thing she really does, this actually surprises me every single time, even though she does it every time, is she quizzes me right before she's about to leave and I'm about to walk her to her car. She quizzes me on the things that we went over that day. And this challenges me so much. I get so tense and I tighten up and I get so nervous because now I have to speak the language. She'll ask me questions in Japanese, and she'll also ask me to translate an English sentence into Japanese. So this is priceless. If you guys can go online and meet someone, or someone, see what you can do. Even if you have to buy them lunch or dinner, it's worth it to get somebody to help you out with Japanese if you're interested. Because not only is it fun to do, it puts a lot of pressure on you and really shows you that you need to work a little bit harder to learn the language. 2 more things that I'm using. The last thing, or the second to last thing, is I bought a blank notebook from Amazon. I looked up the 300 most commonly used Japanese words, and I wrote those down in my book. I separated them by nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, particles. I haven't really looked at it. I can't gauge how that's helped me, but I did manually write those words down, just because you can be fluent in a language and not know every single word. Do you know every single English word? No, but you're pretty good enough to communicate with the average person. So that's what I did with those notebooks. And then the last thing but not least, I started maybe a week ago, and I am 2 months in, just to remind you. I started a week ago, is Duolingo. So you know what, I'll leave a link to those YouTube channels down in the description, so go check those out. Trust me, they're good. But I started Duolingo about a week ago, and Duolingo is amazing for learning the characters that they use. I want to say it's hiragana, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's amazing for memorizing the characters. Now, if I see something written in Japanese, I'll have just at least how to pronounce it in Japanese. And then if I remember that word, then I would know exactly what that word is, just by looking at Japanese characters. So Duolingo is absolutely good, and it's free. They do make you look at ads, but again, I'm trying to stay free for as long as I can to reach fluency. So I guess that's it. That's my list. Those are the things that I use. Let me know what you guys use if you're interested in learning, or let me know what you think about some of the things that I do use, and if you've used them before, and give me your feedback. leave that stuff in the comments, because I don't get a lot of views, so I'll be checking all the comments. For next steps, the thing that I want to work on next is really building out my vocabulary. I realized a lot of times I get hung up on sentences because I don't know the word for table, for ceiling, for door, so I'll know how to say my or your, like watashi no, anata wa, anata no, watashi tachi no. I know how to say those, but my words, so I need to work on that. I'm going to be working on vocab, but I will post a video next week, whether I'm that much better or not, and we'll just keep continuing to see how this goes. And if you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you coming back and checking this out, and let's get fluent.